Like and subscribe now, or you're going to have bad luck this week.
An unexpected pregnancy can be unwelcome and very tough to deal with, especially when you are young, single, and still trying to find your foot in the world. According to the Adoption Network, 135,000 children are adopted in the United States each year, and every scenario is likely to be full of complications, heartaches, and tough decisions. Money problems, relationship dynamics, age, every story is different. Some of the wealthiest and most successful stars in the entertainment industry have opted to place a biological child in an adoption agency or adoptive parents. The experience, which may not seem too deep or profound, usually impacts the biological parents' lives, who often give up the children because they are not fit enough, not emotionally mature, or not financially capable. Whatever the reason may be, it takes a toll on the affected party and influences them in one way or another. Here are 10 celebrities who gave their kids up for adoption. The celebrity at number 1 will shock you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Number 10. David Crosby. David Crosby, the iconic musician, best known for Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, had quite the wild past when he was younger. He even spent several months in prison for drug charges. In 1962, he had a biological son, James Raymond, who was placed for adoption. They weren't reunited until decades later, when Crosby, preparing for a life-saving liver transplant, discovered that Raymond was searching for him. As it turned out, Raymond also had a knack for music, which he must have gotten from his father. He had become a keyboardist and a composer. Father and son bonded over music and even wrote songs and played together. Raymond was also instrumental in creating Crosby's 2014 Cross album. He served as co-producer alongside Dan Garcia, while Crosby's younger son Diego did the album photography. The two have managed to make up for lost time and have even formed a band, CPR, with guitarist Jeff Paver. Number 9. Ted Nugent. While Ted Nugent, the singer and political activist, may have an estimated worth of $20 million, in his teenage years, he and his girlfriend gave up a son named Ted and a daughter named Louisa for adoption. According to The New Yorker, when he was a teenager living in New York with his girlfriend, she got pregnant and gave up their son, Ted Mann, to Catholic Charities. "We were very young, and we were in lust," Nugent said. Mann reportedly felt loved by his adoptive family and saw no need to seek out his parents. However, another sibling tracked him down. Nugent's daughter, Louisa Severs, was reportedly put up for adoption by Nugent's girlfriend without his knowledge in the 1970s. Severs hired a genealogist to find her biological dad, confronting him in 2007 and reaching out to Mann as well. Severs, Mann, and Nugent have since reunited. With this sprawling family tree's biological branches, Nugent has fathered at least 9 children. "It's been awesome," Severs told the Washington Post, describing time spent with her dad. "He's such a sweet man. He's not what people think he is, when he's not screaming about politics." Number 7. Jack Wagner. What happens when a one-night stand results in pregnancy? That's precisely what happened to Jack Wagner. In 1988, the General Hospital actor and former Dancing with the Stars contestant received a phone call from a woman he had a one-night stand with. She told him that she had gotten pregnant with his baby and was giving her up for adoption. Wagner tried to get involved, but at the time there was nothing he could do. 23 years later, a young girl rushed into his dressing room, ran up to him and hugged him, telling him that she was his daughter. While surprised at the moment, he was happy for the chance to get to know her. He invited her on a cruise where he was performing the following day, and the pair reportedly spent the next 5 days together, catching up on lost time. The two currently have an ongoing relationship. Number 6. Kate Mulgrew. Mostly known for her role as Red on the prison drama series Orange is the New Black, Catherine Kiernan Mulgrew was 18 years old when she found out she was pregnant. The father, David Bernstein, a directional intern, suggested an abortion, which she didn't want. It was a dilemma at that point because she was slowly building up her acting career as she played Mary on the soap opera Ryan's Hope. She reached out to her mother and offered to pay her money to watch the baby while she worked. Unfortunately, her mother was not physically or mentally able to help her as she was still dealing with losing her daughter to cancer. As a result, Kate had no other choice but to give the baby up for adoption. However, she started looking for her baby shortly after giving her up for adoption with the church, but had no luck. She even hired a private investigator to aid her in this search. It wasn't until 1988 that she ran into the nun who supervised the adoption and helped Mulgrew and her daughter get in contact. It was while McGrew was on the set of Star Trek Voyager portraying Captain Catherine Janeway, one of her most famous roles, that she received the call from her daughter, Danielle Gaudette. She immediately flew out to see her daughter, and the two have been close ever since. Number 5. Andy Kaufman. Although he dabbed into many different things, Andy Kaufman was best known as a comedian, entertainer, and actor. He often talked about how faking his death would be the ultimate hoax, that when he died at the age of 35 from an extremely rare form of lung cancer, there were many conspiracy theories about how he was not dead. Back when the comedian was in high school, his girlfriend got pregnant, and they placed their daughter, Maria Bellu Colonna, up for adoption. After digging up information, Maria discovered who her biological mother was, and was soon reunited with her family. Unfortunately, she never had the chance to meet her biological father, Andy Kaufman. Maria's daughter Brittany ended up appearing in Man on the Moon, playing Kaufman's younger sister's role, which meant she was playing her great aunt. Number 4. Roseanne Barr. Actress and comedian Roseanne Barr is another celebrity who gave her firstborn daughter up for adoption. Her family wasn't very supportive of her pregnancy when she was just 18 years old, so Roseanne decided to give her daughter up for adoption 9 days after Brandy was born. When Brandy had turned 17, Roseanne's career had taken off with her TV series success, Roseanne. She was in the spotlight, so the tabloids began to poke and prod at her private life, and exposed that she had given Brandy up for adoption, and had found out where Brandy lived. As a result, Roseanne set out to make things right and meet her daughter. Once the two met, they developed a close relationship, and Brandy even worked as a production assistant on Roseanne's set for a while. Number 3. Joni Mitchell. Famous singer, songwriter, and record producer found out she was pregnant at the age of 21, while still in art school in Canada. Still a struggling musician with barely any money or means to provide for herself and a child, she gave the baby up for adoption. Her pain from giving up her baby fueled her music career. She started playing in coffee shops and eventually moved to New York, where music mogul David Geffen discovered her. She was able to keep the adoption a secret until the tabloids found out and leaked her secret, and the world found out about it. She finally reconnected with her daughter in 1997 after receiving a letter from a Canadian woman named Killeran Gibb, who believed the songwriter was her birth mother. Number 2. Patti Smith. Like Joni Mitchell, legendary songwriter Patti Smith also chose adoption after becoming pregnant as a college student. She ultimately decided that giving up that baby for adoption would be the best for both of them. Growing up, her family didn't have a lot of money and struggled to get by. If she had decided to keep the baby, she would have had to depend heavily on her parents for support, who were already spreading themselves thin to provide for Patti and her 3 siblings. Her parents had to send her to a foster home so no one would find out about the pregnancy. She gave up the baby for adoption immediately after she gave birth. Patti Smith and her child have never been reunited. Number 1. Rob Stewart. When Rob Stewart was still in his teens, his girlfriend became pregnant and gave birth in 1963. She tried to keep the baby for a while without help from Stewart, but eventually gave the baby up for adoption when it became too much for her to handle. Rob Stewart tried to make contact in the 1980s when he first discovered the link with his daughter, Sarah Streeter, but the connection was unsuccessful. At the time, there was still a lot of bitterness held against Stewart by Rod's daughter and her birth mother, Suzanne Boffey. 50 years after the adoption, after letting the dust settle, Stewart and Streeter finally met and kept in touch. Sarah is Rod Stewart's first of 8 children. The two are in each other's lives now and have made up for a lot of lost time. We are glad you were able to reconnect after 50 years, Rod. And there you have it, 10 celebrities who gave their kids up for adoption. Is there any celeb that you think was not included in this list? Let us know in the comments. To get more content like this, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.